Hey, Shalom. This is a men's only class, strength and honor. All right. Happy Sabbath, Shalom. So, you sisters, this is a men's only class. Y'all don't hesitate to come back. Hey, Shalom, sister. This is a men's only class. I'm gonna ask y'all to come back at 3:30. We got some men stuff to deal with. All right, so any sister that's in the lobby, Shalom Shabbat, I ask you to exit and just come back. So, Most High Christ bless your body.
Most High Christ bless you too.
All right. So all praises, Israel, to the Most High. I am excited to put this men's class together so we can go over maybe some of the issues that we as men have and address some of the topics. Shalom, shalom. Address some of the topics, okay, and maybe some of the things that plague us, as men. Let's go to Proverbs, the 8th chapter. Once again, sisters, just exit the class and return back at 3:30 Central Time. What's up, sister? Shalom. This is a men's class. I think I'm going to be saying that all day. Shalom Shabbat. Proverbs chapter 8 and verse, start at the top, 8 and 1.
This is Proverbs 8 and 1. Doth not wisdom cry, and understanding put forth her voice? She standeth in the top of the high places, by the way in the places of the paths.
All right, so that wisdom is coming out through the learned men in Israel. And it's coming out, and it's supposed to go into the heads of the houses. That's all right, sis. Our regular Sabbath service is going to start at 6:30, so we're doing a men's, 3:30, Salaki, 3:30. Shalom Shabbat, Chayah. It's a men's class. Can't go out to camp because of the weather, so we're gonna be in her building. All right, so sisters, you're definitely welcome to come back at 3:30. So this wisdom that comes out, you're gonna hear it come forth. That's what the Lord was trying to tell us in through Ezekiel in the 30th chapter concerning. He ain't gonna remove the teachers no more. You're gonna be able to see the teachers. Okay? She standeth in the top of high places, by the way in the places of the path. That's why you see people being out teaching the Bible, teaching the word. Okay? She crieth at the gates. That's the communities. Everywhere where you see Israel, the subdivisions, the communities. When we go from city to city, we want to know where our people are. When we pull in to the bright lights, we know, okay, Israel don't have these shops and these stores. They don't own these nice cars, this, that, and the third. So we have to ask, where are people at? And then tell them what we're trying to do. We're trying to teach the Bible, teach the laws to help counterattack crime in the city. So as I'm saying is, your job is to imagine this. Going into a city, happen to say, hey, where my people at? Because like I said, you see those lights, you see those cars, you see those shops. We don't own those, you know. So you have to go into the lower parts of the earth, to the lower parts. When I'm saying the earth, meaning you ain't digging in the core, you're going into the places where the Father have dispersed us for disobedience. Hey, man, that's your job. You know, and that's why when we go through this, you know, we're gonna go through. This is the criteria of the type of person that the Most High want, and then you gotta examine, you know, what type of person am I? Am I honorable seed? Am I deceivable seed? Have I been wretched? And then we get an opportunity to put some of those things that we have to deal with and battle with on the table amongst men. And that's why we don't want sisters in the classes, not our men classes, Shalom Shabbat. Because some things are personal, you know, there are weaknesses, there are faults, those things that we need to get better on. But I tell you, doesn't matter how small it is, that's could be the kink in your armor. That could be your downfall. That could be the thing that's holding you back. You know, Job was smart enough to ask in the 32nd chapter. Said, that which I see not, teach thou me. So that's how we all got to be. When we don't see things, we got to ask the Most High to show it to us, because we're trying to become better. Because our whole objective is to do this here. To now relieve the ones that went out into the midst, into the gates, to cry that wisdom out. Because everybody's got a course. Course meaning a time frame that they're gonna live, that they're gonna walk. And when they carry the torch, when they did their job, the rest of them, it's gotta be up and coming. So there's no room for hatred, envy, strife, impatience, covetousness, envy, if I can say that, or it's enough. Christ said the harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. The true laborers, in order to be a true laborer, man, you're going to have to sacrifice yourself. And you can't let your mother get in the way, your father, your sister, your brother, your child, your wife. As a man, you can't let nobody get in the way. You actually have to believe in this. And believing in this, there's a reward for doing so. That's the resurrection. And that's something that, that ain't even negotiable. When I say negotiable, meaning you're going to go for that, you don't trade that in exchange for anything. You don't let nothing compromise that, no form of sin, no habit, no bad ways, and especially no person. Okay? So we have Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 3. She cried at the gates, at the entry of the city. See, when we use our imagination, we in town now. Just got into town, we're looking. We're asking, hey, where are our people at? Where are the black and Hispanics and Latinos of Negroid descent? Where are they at? At the coming in, at the doors. This vicinity, sometimes they send you on this side of town, sometimes they send you on that side of town. See, in order to do this type of work and to understand this, you got to be sober-minded, clear-minded. You got to always be trying to attach this word, this spirit, and you got to find ways, to not let your sins lift up, not repeat those things. You got to improve, man. You got to Israel. We got to get better. All right. This is a men's class. Hey, Shalom, sisters. All right. Y'all come back at 3:30. Verse 4. Read that.
Unto you, O men, I call.
Unto you, O men, I call. See, so this calling is for the men. And you men, we have a huge job to do. the so-called black woman has carried this nation. She is strong as hell. She has carried this nation through oppression. She has carried, I know we see the wretched, wicked thoughts, but the single black woman, has done everything that she possibly can do. She has carried, this nation, shalom, for a while. Now it's time for us to lift up our voice and return our people back into the Father. Just imagine how things would be if we can turn our hearts into the scriptures. If we could help change, their smoking habits, their fornication. Fornication, man, that thing there is so destructive right there. All the ones that you see that's reckless and don't care, they have no fathers in their lives. Not all of them, but a lot of them. I believe majority of them have no fathers in their lives. And that's why they have to see unity when they see you, brothers. This is a men's class. Your sisters come back at 3:30. They have to see unity. But that unity, you gotta want it, man. You can want unity, but you can't achieve it if you don't make sacrifices. That sacrifice has to start with that man in the mirror. And every time you run into a situation that you don't understand, you got to reach out and you got to ask for help. Yeah, you got to ask for help, man. That's what brothers are in your life for. This is a men's class. Sisters come back at 3:30. Y'all brothers might seem to be, feeble in the eyesight of the world because you rely on counsel. But in the eyesight of the Lord, the Most High said, he came out just the other day in class, there is none greater. He said, you are greater than protenants, you're greater than kings. You brothers that humble yourself, that make that sacrifice, you are the greatest people on the face of the earth. Because you have self-control over your mind. And you would not be deterred away from your God, from his instructions. And therefore, he will give you the gift of eternal life and immortality. But you have got to sacrifice yourself in this lifetime in order to see that. Okay, so now, he said, unto you, O men. So we have Proverbs, sisters, y'all got to come back at 3:30. This is Proverbs chapter 8 at verse 4. Read that again. Unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of man. He said, and his voice is to the sons of men. So initially, that's what's going on. The Most High, he called us, man. He called us to repent. He called us to give us instruction. Okay, let's go to Psalms 83. Psalms 83. And verse 1, read that. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83, and verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace. Right. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace. So now, if the Lord, the Most High, is not going to keep silence, not to hold his peace, what do you think he's going to do? Just read it. What is he going to do? What is he going to do? Not hold his peace, how?
By calling them in.
By calling them in. Right, by calling them in. That's why. So this is a heavy thing. This is a big thing. You being called into this group. See, everybody, you know, we can take this thing, but we got to know how to take it. We take it, man, by teaching our people to turn away from their iniquities and explaining to them, your life has to be an example of what sobriety is, of what fatherhood is, of what being a husband is. And it doesn't matter what state they're in, because we all came from that. That's why through the Spirit, Titus was speaking, or Paul was teaching Titus how not to speak evil of them, because they could change. They could change, they can get it right, and they can move on. We don't discourage them. So, the peace of the Lord, he ain't holding it. He raising you men up, sisters. This is a men's class. Please back out. All right. So now, verse 2 again.
This is Psalms 83 and 2.
Right.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Go ahead.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people,
Go ahead.
and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Right. Isn't this enough for you to get up off your bumps? Right. And let that spirit enter into you. So when that spirit enters into you, you're going to do something about it. You're going to be teaching repentance for remission of sins. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Look at this thing. Come and let them come. So we're sitting, actually, Israel, we sit back and we read this, and the first thing we want the Most High is to do something about it. Do something about it. The Lord's telling us to do something about it. He did his thing. What was his thing? Calling us. Okay? Calling us. Let me grab my precept. Yeah, calling us. That was his thing. Jeremiah 7. Jeremiah 7. And 25.
This is Jeremiah 7 and 25. Since the day that your fathers came forth out of the land of Egypt unto this day.
Right. What happened in Egypt? The people were oppressed. And when every time the people get oppressed, this is what the Father did. Go ahead.
I have even sent unto you all my servants the prophets.
Right. So the prophets, the servants, you men who the Lord make out of prophets, that's who he sent as the help, as the support. The thing is, return Israel back, and when our righteousness is acceptable in the sight of the Father, and then the Lord, and then Israel as a people, as a nation, we began to blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. Then the Lord said, okay, now let me take care of the missiles and the bombs and the brutality. Because then, now we know how to treat. Then we're going to know how to treat all the gifts that the Most High give to us. Okay, I hope it's making sense. I hope it's making sense. That's the order of things. And this is, this is why we work so hard. This is why we have to grind so hard. We have to exhaust every avenue, put our spirit into reviving this nation, this country. Well, the nation that's in this country. You understand? Have to put your spirit in it, man. Okay? Looking for those that want to repent. Those that don't, don't even, just keep moving. Just keep moving as if, maybe it's a dead body or something. Just keep moving. Look for those that want to. He did say, don't sow the pearls among swine. So, hey, if you want to act like swine, then I'm going to keep moving around you like your swine. I'm not going to touch it. You're defiled. Okay? So, since the day that I brought you, that your fathers came out of the land of Egypt, unto this day, I have sent unto you my servants, the prophets. So, time is repeating itself. Go ahead.
Daily rising up and sending them.
Daily. Yeah. Daily rising up. Early. Meaning before Israel would actually, just like this time period that we live in now, the Lord said, oh, I need his prophet right now. Then all of a sudden he sent a baby. We need help now. So what is a newborn baby in 2018? How is that going to benefit Israel now? And they need to start learning and hearing and changing because the path they on is going to lead to death. No. So what would he do? He'll do it in the 80s. He'll do it in the 70s. He'll do it in the 60s. He'll do it in the 90s. Some of you born in 2000. So that makes you 18 years old now. So he did it then because he knows the path. He knows the route. He knew today. And that's why all of you are here. So when he gonna rise up early, he got out in front of the situation, then you were born. Okay, and now you're here. But we have to clean up our ways. We have to see this. Because if you don't, then you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay for it. Everybody's gonna keep on moving. Okay, so now let's lose that. Look how bad it is. And go back to Psalms 83. This is terrible. This is enough to make us want to do something. Okay, Psalms 83 and verse 2, they have taken the counsel. Okay, well, we read about that council where the Senate and all the, did it list a number of people in that Senate?
Yeah, I think 300 was it. 300.
First Maccabees 8 and 15.
This is First Maccabees chapter 8 and verse 15. Moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily.
Sat in council daily. Yeah. And what do you think happened in that council? What they say? Let them cut us. Let them. Now let's go back to Psalms 83. The same council. Psalms 83 and verse 3.
Psalms 83 and 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
So when that Senate is sitting in council, that's not for our people. So as men, we have to do something about that. That's the reason why we have to sober up. You can't go in and reason and change their mind. They're never gonna let you go. They're never gonna change. They're never gonna try and equalize and raise some type of rights and give you some type of and make this thing plush. No, they figure that you were given to them for a spoil. To spoil. That's why they do what they want to do with you. They rape our women. They imprison our sons and take them into prison and make them work and kill our men. They love killing our men. Right. And this council is nothing for you, man. It's a big trap. And in this council, they figured out, they tried to stop you from developing into a people again. They don't want you to be smart. You know, the smart ones, for the first time I've seen Rosewood that happened in Florida, Rosewood, 1923. I've been seeing that movie for a long time. When it first came out, I bought it, watched it, and every time I watch it, I just get even madder and madder. But I noticed something the last time we watched it, the body we watched it together, maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and they showed the schooling. Well, the schooling was just done right outside in the grass. So there's nothing to schooling. And that was 1923. So they try to depict, to the best of their ability, the chain of events. So every city has public schools, whether it's Houston public schools and public schools of Florida, Missouri, St. Louis public schools. All they did was organize it, because they're teaching you how to run their little shops. And those that excel, those that are gifted, those that are extreme, they put you at a certain status for a reason, because they want to separate you from the lower state of your people so that you don't return and you don't go back unto them and try and liberate them, because they want to keep you at a certain level of this oppression. That's the name of the game. So this council is always up to that. That's why they give the green lights on who can do what, who can do this and who can do that. So I was recently, I think it was last night, I was watching something. I'm thinking, what's the name of this movie? That's the American Assassin. You saw that? American Assassin. I started not to watch it, but it was out of the norm. So I said, well, let me just do something abnormal. So I kept watching it. And most of it took place in Rome. So now, I guess these highly trained fighters, it was this one white boy. He was highly trained, and I guess they kept watching him because he could fight real good. I mean, he could fight real good. He was an expert at war and fighting and shooting and all that type of stuff. Nobody could whoop him or beat him. So somehow his information got to the CIA, and I don't know how they end up bringing him in or something. Maybe he ended up killing somebody. And then they show up. So then they tell him, they're going to cut him a break. And at this point, they need, him to help fight terrorism. And I find it very peculiar that the base of the CIA operation was in Rome. And so I'm sitting there and I'm checking. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Let me see how far this is going to go. And so while they trying to get some Islamic terrorists who's trying to make a nuclear bomb, these Edomites, these whites working with Iranians, and they want to bomb Israel. Well, you know why all the fighting over Israel is because the Ashkenazi Jews, the Jewish people that has the state of Israel, is in land that doesn't belong to them, and everybody knows it. And so the Iranians and the Arabs, they want the land. So they was trying to buy plutonium, however you pronounce it, plutonium. They're trying to buy the nuclear ingredients to bomb Israel and kill the fake Jews so that they can get the land. Well, they were sitting at a table. I said all this to say this. They were sitting at a table, and they had the little, I guess, the wide screen so that you can see the depth and the deep of the picture. So they were waiting for the terrorists so that they could try and get up on them, and they got this American assassin, a guy that can fight really good. And back up in the picture, I see the horse and the chariot and the old Roman fighter and the old Roman standing on the little cart and the two big wheels and the horse. That's Rome. So now that Roman and all these white folks, they're letting us know that these people are the ancient Romans. They still got a lot of relics that's in Rome. So Rome is the hub and distribution for everything that's scattered throughout the world. At this point, that's what they call the headquarters of the world. So Rome is not normal. You understand? In their eyes, it's beautiful. It's exquisite. It's like there's no place like Rome. This, is the straight Maya. Okay. So they want to keep that like that by having total control. Well, that's God's thing to bring that down. But our thing is to turn our people away from the things that they're doing. Now, we can't do that if we're going to stay in sin. We can't do that if we're not in order. Okay, so now back to the script. Psalms 83 and 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off. So in this council, their whole objective is to cut them off from being a nation. So they spend decades turning you against each other, giving some and not everybody else. Even in a house, there's common sense that if you give one and don't give the other, something that, you're going to cause division. Okay? It says that the name, so now they're going after the name, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. That's the dirtiest thing, man, that I've ever heard. You're going to cause amnesia. Shalom says it's a men's class. Come back at 3:30. Obadiah, wake up. Get no rest last night? All right. So now, if they're trying to cut us off from being a nation so that we can forget our name, what do you think the Most High is calling us to do? Bring it back alive. Okay? Now, 1 Kings 2. First Kings chapter 2, verse 1.
This is 1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 1. Now the days of David drew nigh that he should die. And he charged Solomon his son, saying, I go the way of all of the earth. Be thou strong therefore, and show thyself a man. and keep the charge of the Lord thy God.
Right. So being a man consists of keeping the charge of the Most High. What is the charge of the Most High? A charge is a command. A charge is a command. So we now briefly, we're going to go through some of the commands that we find difficult. And I want to hear from you out there as well as you in here. Because this what denotes a man. If we're going to go out and we're going to do this fight, we have to be men. If you can't keep these commandments, you can't keep the charge, then you're not going to be wise, neither you're going to be considered a man of the Lord. So keep the charge of the Lord to walk. Go ahead.
To walk in his ways.
To walk in his ways, not your ways, not our ways, but to walk in his ways. Go ahead.
To keep his statutes.
Right, to keep his statutes. A statute is what? Hey, there's a limit to what you can do. There's a limit to what you can do. Or you're going past the limit. Okay? It's not limitless. Oh, I can do what I want to do. You can't do that. You have to have rulership over yourself. Okay? Let's go and get that real quick. Proverbs.
Uh, 25 and 20.
Proverbs 25, 28.
This is Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 28. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls.
Got it now? Read it again for him.
This is Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 28. He that hath no rule over his own spirit.
Right, that's self-control right there. Right. So remember how David was telling his son Solomon that he would have to learn to walk in his ways to keep the Lord's statutes. So now every brother here has got something that you battle with. If you lose in the battle, if you don't have no rule over your spirit, how do you have, meaning you got to have total control. Shalom. You got to have total control over yourself. You got to be able to stop yourself, even little boys. Yes. Even the youth. You have to be able to, stop yourself. Not once, not twice, but every time. This is what makes you a man. You don't be like, well, a man would just pull up and do it. A man would do it. A man is being a man is self-control. Over your actions, over your speech, over your whereabouts, temperance, over your mind, your self-control. You got to have rules. So it says, he that have no rule over his spirit is like a city that's broken down. The Lord said we're just like our environment, because all the cities to where Israel live in, they're broken down. Who wants this to define you? Say, man, this is what you worth. You're worth nothing. You're worth this. Broken down. None of us. We always feel that we deserve better. So if we deserve better, then we have to prove to the Father that we deserve better by having total control over our spirit, over our mind, our thought process, our mouth, the stuff that we say, the actions that we do, down to the T. It says, and without what? Walls. What are the walls there for? Protection. That means you can't even defend, you can't even help yourself. You can't stop yourself. You can't defend yourself. When this thing comes, you're gonna do it. The scriptures say that when sin come your way, you're gonna do it. That's not how we want to be viewed as a man. Nobody can tell me that I'm gonna sin. That will be, I will feel that they're thinking evil of me. I ain't even did it yet. You just know I'm gonna do it. You go into the store, they look at you, oh, you're gonna steal. Like what? Well, having no control over yourself, if you're a thief, you go into the store, what's gonna happen? What are you gonna do? You're gonna steal. So that's, it's an acknowledging. You're gonna steal. You're a thief, you're gonna steal. If you're a lie, you're gonna lie. That's why being a man, we gotta have control over everything that we do to avoid us doing it. And hey, it's not easy. Getting to the point to where you have this strength. That's why you need Christ. You need the examples of Christ, and you need the body, because the body that has different attributes, different strengths. Everybody has something different that they bring to this congregation. And being in that assembly, you get to eat from the tree of life, which is Christ, which is inside of us. This brother got this fruit, that brother got that fruit, this brother got that fruit, that brother got that fruit. You get to eat from all the different fruits. And that's what's going to make you better. That's what's going to make you stronger. That's why the assembly is, it has to be a beautiful thing. And everybody has to be on one accord. Everybody has to have that same mind. Like, yo, I'm doing it. And when one suffer, we all suffer with it. Meaning, hey, we deal with it. And we bring that estate of that person, that mind state, we bring that estate of that person up. Because that is a man. That is not a city that is broken down. This brother do have protection. He can help himself. Okay, so let's go back to 1 Kings chapter 2. So I hope y'all brothers getting these things together. Some of the things that we have to deal with. And verse 3.
1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 3. And keep the charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes, and his commandments, and his judgments, and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest.
So why would we do it? That we mayest prosper.
Because it's written in the law.
It's written in the law, and we want to prosper. See, some people, they don't care about no law. You have to learn to care about that law. So something that I would point out, that thou mayest prosper. And it would make one think, like, okay, all right, so I need to do this to prosper. Okay, I'm going to do it. And then understanding going to come around. Our faith in the Most High through Christ going to come around. If you want to prosper, then you're going to do it. If you don't want to prosper, then you're going to continue to be a boy. Or you're going to continue to be a young man. Or you're going to become an old fool. And the Lord said, don't even worry one, you ain't gonna go unpunished. He said, don't even bind them up. Don't even bind them up. Because in one, you ain't gonna go unpunished. That's something to think about. The smart, it's gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna have to pay for all of this. And remember, you don't have any consequences over the things, and you don't know when these judgments gonna come. Well, if they come when you 35, or when they come when you're 60, or when they come when you're 21, they come at any time. And although you think that they might have an end, what if they have no end? So when you get it pitched to you like that, then you consider the fear of the Lord. And then you begin to fear his laws. Then you begin to walk in them. And then you prosper. But then when you go astray, something happens. So all our brothers, when they go astray from the law, something happens. Ecclesiasticus. Yeah, you have to look in the room. Chapter 4. Verse 16.
This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 4 and verse 16. If a man commit himself unto her, he shall inherit her.
Right, so that's the law. You commit yourself unto it, you're going to inherit it. That's the wisdom. That's the wits. That's the smarts. You're gonna get the know-how on how to do certain things. You might need it. The know-how on how to do certain things. But hey, it doesn't come in a day. So that's the thing that most of you think. You think that I'm gonna apply it today, and now I'm a great person. No, you're not gonna be great today in one day. You're gonna have to shed some skin, man. You're gonna take some bumps. Just like riding a bike. You skint that knee up. It's gonna take something. It's gonna take some flesh. Okay? So if a man commit himself, you gotta commit. And it takes time. He shall inherit her. And you'll get it. It takes time though. It takes time. Okay, read the next part.
And his generations shall hold her
Right,
in
and
possession.
his generations shall hold her. Who is his generations? The children that he bringing up behind them. Remember how the Lord told us? He said, I know Abraham. He gonna teach his house. All right. So the structure that we have to put down, sisters, it's a men's class. Y'all gotta come back at 3:30. All sisters exit this class. Come back at 3:30. It's a men's only class. So the Lord said, I know Abraham. He gonna teach his household after him to keep the way of the Lord. And sometimes, putting your foot down as a man that's what you're gonna have to do. You have to put your foot down. And you can't worry about if they pissed off, if they offended, if they mad, what they gonna do. They gonna leave. They gonna threaten to leave. They gonna push you out. They gonna do all things. See, you can't fear them. You have to fear the Father. That example of sternness in the scriptures and obedience to the commandments is what they need to see. You want to save them, you got to show it to them. You don't let them stir you. You don't compromise, what you're supposed to be doing, because they compromised. Neither can you trim your way. Cut a little bit off because I love you. And you can't do that. You can't trim your way. Because they looking to see. All you're doing is compromising with Satan that's inside of them. You got to be willing to lose it. Peradventure the Most High will give them the spirit to humble themselves, because what are they doing? Fighting the flesh. Fighting the flesh, warring inside of them. And because you standing up against it, now you an adversary. But we have to trust that the Lord said that our generations will hold her in possession. They'll come back around. We have to keep the faith that they'll come back around. So this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 4 and verse 17. Go ahead.
Verse 17. For at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways, and bring fear and dread upon him.
So now, if you make a mistake, what's going to happen?
Wisdom gonna bring fear and dread upon him.
It's gonna put some fear on you and dread. That prosperity that we were seeking after, it's gonna be threatened. Yeah. So that's a chain of event. That's something that happened. That line right there that brought fear and dread upon him, that means something happened. That means that you took a chance. You were applying, and then you took a chance. Now you end up with fear and dread. Something's threatened. It could be loss of a job. Now you don't know how you're going to eat. All these bills are coming up. Cell phone disconnected. No communications out. Car note due 1 month. Now it's late. 2 months. Now it's way past late. Can't pay a rent. Car notes 2 things down. 3 months behind now. That might be looking for it. Now you're afraid, dread and fear. And you still holding on to that much sin. Not really realizing it's that much. That's what's causing it, that much right there. So Israel, we have to repent from all sin. You brothers are the tip of the spirit. You are the elite. You're the best that's out here. You Israelites that are dispersed, you're the best that's out here. And being the best that's out here, how do you think God want to present you to somebody? He want to present you without spot, blemish, or wrinkle. And therefore, that's why he got to chastise you. That's why you got to take a loss. so that you can learn that that leaven is leavening up your complete lump. Okay, so now, that's what's going, that's, you know. So that was Kings 2. Bear with me, don't lose that page. Kings 2 and 3 was his testimonies, as it is written in the law, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, whatsoever thou turnest, and if you go against it, then that fear and dread. So that's why we came here. Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and 17. That fear and dread gonna come to you. It's gonna come your way. Read the next part. And what?
And torment him.
And torment you. So even though the Father loves us as men, He sent us out here to do a job. Some of you don't think that you're supposed to be tormented. Where does being tormented, where does that happen at?
In your mind.
In your mind. And that's why some of you be thinking that you're going crazy. That's where some of you think that you're going crazy. I'm going to lose my mind. But what are you going to lose your mind over? Read the next part.
With her discipline.
With her discipline. So what do we think we're going to lose our mind? It says with our discipline, but put it in another fashion.
Correction.
Yep, correction. Anything else? I want to hear from y'all too. You know, when you're not doing the right thing and it keeps worrying you, it keeps bugging, it's you bugging. You ain't bugging in the wrong fashion. You know what I'm saying? The Most High is tormenting you because you feel guilty. And the more you feel guilty, what's going to end up happening? You could end up discouraged. And that's why we're here. We have to address these issues. Okay? So now let's see, is that it? That's 4 and 17. Go ahead.
Until she may trust his soul.
Until she may trust his soul. That means until you get it right. So men's class, sister, come back at 3:30 until you get it right. Because who see us getting it wrong? The Most High, who else?
Other people who we supposed to be examples for.
Other people who we're supposed to be example for. Please ask us 32. And verse 20.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 32 and verse 20. Go not in a way wherein thou mayest fall, and stumble not among the stones.
So we're stumbling among who? The stones. They already hard-headed. Now they saying a man of God stumbling. A man of God in sin. A child of God. You children. You youngsters. That's not good. For somebody that's already, when it's a stone, that's a person. They just hard-headed. So if you are a child of the Most High, you have no business sinning in front of them. Because they look at you as, oh, you are a God-fearing person, but I see you doing this. So that means that it's okay to do that. If it's arguing, if it's anger, if it's frustration, they ain't supposed to even see us frustrated. Because there's a way to deal with wrath. Give place to the law. sometimes be defrauded. That's how you deal with it. Okay, so now, back to Ecclesiastes chapter 4. So you go through these, it says in latter part 17, until she may trust his soul. So that means you have to develop trust with the Most High. And the only way you're going to develop trust with the Most High is to stop living in sin. Have a pattern of not sinning. So that's you test it, test it, test it, test it. All those are wins. Test it, test it, test it, test it, win. Test it, test it, test, win. Test, win. So by this time, what do you think is happening? Don't you think that you begin to develop, you're gonna be developing some trust? Yeah, so it's like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 46, 7, 8, 9, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 55. It's about 55 times. So that means that these tests will come to you and come to you over and over. That's why y'all argue all the time. You ain't doing nothing different. You know, fighting comes, well, they said, work. Somebody. When the brother came to cuss David and his friends wanted to take his head off, David said, leave him alone. The Lord said, cuss David. The Most High allows everything to unfold to make you a better man. You have to get exercise, training in these things. Oh, I know you don't like it, but if you can't figure out how to adjust and how to fix this, how you gonna be able to deal with Yashalom, with Israel, if you can't fix these things? You gotta be able to fix these things. That's what you was called for. You can do yourself some justice by stop taking it personal. Let them hurt. They the ones that's sinning. The test is for who? The test is for you. When you take it personal, who's losing?
Me.
You're losing, man. When you take it personal, you're losing. Because it's gonna cause you to deal foolishly. It's gonna cause you already set aside the commandment of the Lord. Because the Lord teaches us how to deal with adversity, not rendering evil for evil. Okay? So let's deal with some of the things that is, as men, stressing us. It could be married men, single men. It could be on any category, any level. All right.
What's stressing me is I don't got enough time to talk to the brothers and like have like the scripture say, a liberal communication source, line of communication, and my spirit is like they get upset because I only get it Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And that's the thing that made me who I am. So when I don't got it, I be like, vexed. But I have to grow my spirit because everybody gotta do something in their life, and I gotta go to work. So it's keeping me away from the same thing I get Tuesday, Thursday on the Sabbath. So it's precious to me.
Okay. So you saying because you don't get it Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday?
No, because I don't get it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. and Sunday.
Wow. Okay, that's you know, I know it's bad for you, but it's beautiful that that you feel like that. And who has a solution for them? So I'll tell you what, let's Romans 5. So this brother here is saying that he can't get he doesn't get enough of the fellowship. You know, he gets it on the class days, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And it's vexing to his spirit. Because he can't get it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and Sunday. So Romans chapter 5. Let's see, and start at verse 1.
This is Romans chapter 5 and 1. Therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Yahushua, by whom also we have access by faith into this grace wherein we stand.
So he's referring to us being able to be into this fellowship of the Spirit, and that we have peace with the Most High through Christ. So now, by whom also we have access. So you have access. It says, by faith. So you got to keep your faith up. You have to keep your faith up. Okay? It says, into this grace, this is what's making us to stand. So if you let your faith start to waver and your faith start to diminish, then the adversary would then begin to offer you some form of alternative, which could lead to some form of sin. And so that's not what you need. You have to understand that you already have full access, and that the grace that the Lord has given you now is sufficient, because Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and on Sunday, you're someplace else. You're doing something else. And it's gonna come out, and hopefully you can see and understand it, because the Spirit gave it to me. As soon as you said it, I'm like, ding, I'm like, okay, I see, I understand it. Read the next part.
And rejoice.
And so you gotta stand, and you have to rejoice. Rejoice what? In hope of the glory of the Most High, meaning to get better and to have more of it. So you still have to be positive, and you got to be happy concerning it. Okay, nothing is forever. We've always had jobs that were temporal. We had houses, we changed houses, that was temporal. We were involved in this, that was temporal. So while you are doing what you're doing that for a reason. That's only seasonal. So you have to understand that. You have to accept that. You can't, get out of order because you want something and you want it now. Because if you get out of order, then you mess up the training exercise that the Lord's got you going through. You understand? I mean, you look at it as a job. It's the fact of in working in employment, that you actually need it. Because at one point in time, you wasn't used to working. Now the Most High put the Spirit on you, now you work full time. So that's what it takes. And that type of example is something that's needed for your ministry.
Sure, can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
I dealt with the same thing. And these brothers came by and used to help me out. And I built my faith exactly what Sam's saying. And I've gotten a whole lot better to understand exactly what's coming from the tank to the scripture. So I'm gonna say I believe you'll get better at it because I've dealt with it and experienced it myself and getting better. That's how I know you will get better at it. So don't feel like you're alone. Understand where I'm coming from?
Yes, sir.
I just want to put that out there.
Yes, sir.
Right. So in other words, you're not the only person that has been through that and that go through that. And he felt like that until he got edified. Now you going through it, and hopefully you receive the edification. But most importantly, we can't pick and choose the training exercise that we need or how long we're gonna be down up under it. And you might not think that it's necessary, but the Lord's like, it's highly necessary. Your job that you working that's got you there, it might not be the greatest thing.
Yeah.
Friends, I pray the Most High surround you and bless you with things so much you can't even receive. But then once you get to that point, when you in your ministry, when it's your time, you're gonna have to look at another brother and say, hey man, you take that job and you show up faithfully and you grind it out. You understand? So you are there doing your thing for a reason, man, for experience. If he just shot you straight to the top, what can you give to somebody that's working on the bottom, that's going into an entry-level job, that's trying to strive and survive and fight? You have nothing in common, man. I think it's Ecclesiastes 29. I'll find it though. Let's see.
You gonna confirm?
Ten. Ecclesiastes 10. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and 29.
This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and verse 29.
Go to 30.
Verse 30.
Mm-hmm.
The poor man is honored for his skill, and the rich man is honored for his riches.
So the rich man is honored for his riches. So if you got shot straight to the top, you're going to be known for your riches. You understand? Read it, verse 31.
He that is honored in poverty, how much more in riches?
Go ahead.
And he that is dishonorable in riches, how much more in poverty?
Right. If he's rich, how is he going to be honored in poverty? Don't get shook off the dishonorable part. And rich, that means he just got money and he don't deal right with it. but he's known to be rich, just like Trump. I don't even like mentioning his name, but this man, he's got so much money. What does he have in common with people in poverty? Nothing. He oppressed them even more. The rich can't even go to the poverty, the people impoverished can't even go to him for relief. He oppressed them even more. So you understand?
Yes, sir.
So us being in poverty and having to work ourselves way up through those ranks is something that the Most High take us through, so that we could learn what it's like to have to go and do that grind. You know, my wife said something to me maybe a year or two ago or something like that. And she spoke concerning, you know, people in general. She said, you know, they never saw you. They never saw you grind. You know, if you some years ago, if you wasn't around, you didn't see how hard I worked. You just know that, okay, maybe I'm at home on forever vacation. You imagine me on my couch. But, you know, you didn't see me, all the tools I got, brother, you know, every last one of them put to use. You didn't know I was a dishwasher. You didn't see me washing dishes. Serving Vital lunches. You didn't see me serving Vital lunches. Little shirt with an apple on it. I worked at a grade school. Children thought I worked at Applebee's. You know, showing up faithfully, putting in hours, man. Trying to make it count, adding the ends up. All right, so let's go back. So Romans chapter 5. And 3.
This is Romans chapter 5 and verse 3. And not only so, but we glory in tribulation.
So we don't glory not just in the Most High because we in the truth, but we glory in tribulation. One of the tribulation is, hey, the fact that you got to go through what you're going through. Okay, how do you glory? Be positive. Okay, you can't be positive without help. That's why it's so important. You got to let the help do their job. Okay, go ahead.
Knowing that tribulation worketh patience.
Right, what you're going through is supposed to bring forth patience. It's supposed to teach you how to wait for the promotion of the Father, okay, into a better time. Right? Yeah, into a better time. Each and every last person. We have to wait for the patience of the Most High. Okay, go ahead.
And patience, experience.
Right. And patience. So you learn. And patience. So you being patient, you get an experience. What you going through. You get an experience. So your experience might not, you know, you can't run with the brothers it's not in the cause now. We together every day. You know, some have families. They have to be with their families every day. And Most High's will, when you get a family, you ain't gonna be able to come out every day. You ain't gonna be able to come out every day, man. You're gonna be able to she'll definitely accept, you know, the days that you do, but then those other days you got to be at home and you gotta take care of the house. You're gonna have a job to do. Okay? So go to 1 Corinthians 7. in verse 30.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 30. And they that weep as though they wept not.
Right. And though that weep as though they wept not. Okay, so what do we weep for? Weep for, like, when he's feel some type of way, leaves them in sad state. You know, I want to be with the brothers. I want to do this. I want to do that. You say, you gotta stop the crying. You gotta gird up. Go ahead.
And they that rejoice as though they rejoice not. And they that buy as though they possess not. And they that use this world as not abusing it. For the fashion of this world passeth away.
Right. Some people are in the world and they love it. They love their job. They love the entertainment. They just go on with the flow. The flow ain't always good because the flow can lead you to sin. Verse 32.
But I will have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried careth for the things that belong to the Lord.
So every brother that is not married should first and foremost be trying to keep these commandments to the best of your ability so that the Father can increase your spirit. He can increase your faith. And you can start taking upon some of the work. So your gifts and your talents from the Father can start blossoming in you. Because it's in you. Oh, it's in you. You just got to commit yourself unto Him so that it can start coming out. You brothers are preachers, man. Ministers, teachers, future elders, deacons, bishops. You brothers are kings and priests of the earth, man. Judges. Okay? This is not a waste of time. So, but those of you brothers that are unmarried, you have got to commit yourself unto the Most High. You got to get your study on. You got to read this Bible. You got to get your study on. You have got to read this Bible. You got to have faith in what you're doing. I would have you without worrying. That's what carefulness is. I'm worrying. What am I supposed to do? Okay, you unmarried, care for the things that belong to the Lord. So the extra time that you looking for to run with the brothers, to use this, see, verse 31, use this word, not abusing it. You want to just go skating and power balling and go to the movies and all this. No, he said, don't abuse the world, man. He said, you are married, now you got to cling unto the Most High, man. Pick up your book and read it. Know what you're talking about. Do you understand? Know what you're talking about. So he that is unmarried care for the things that belong to the Lord, how he may please him. Right? So that's how you spend your time. And know for sure that he that is married care for the things that are what of the world, how he may please his wife. So we as married men, but we're trying to keep the bills paid, we're trying to keep the car fixed. We're always things pertaining unto this world, trying to make sure that, you know, the woman that he gave unto us is happily dwelling with us. We care about the Lord for sure, but now we got a woman that is actually, you know, we're trying to support and take care of too. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard to just break free and say, oh brother, let's go do this, let's go do that. No, it's something of a total different nature that's happening that we play a part in, you know. And once you're married, you're gonna find out too. You know, you're gonna find out too. Okay? All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask something like, do you remember when, like, before you had the job, you know what I'm saying?
I'll pop a lot. Like before you had the job.
Do you remember before you had the job how you was as far as like this precept here? Like brother was like reading and studying. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I don't think nobody, before this brother got a job, I don't think nobody read the scriptures and studied as much as this dude did right here. That's all he did. listened to classes, and read the book. It was to the point to where he would call me like, what do I do next? I've been reading all day, I've been listening all day. He had too much time on his hands, and he dedicated it to this.
Right.
Sham could have said, so he called Sham, yo, I didn't read all day, come get me. You know what I'm saying?
And be upset if we can't come.
Bro,
Like,
you can't come, look, man, I done read enough. So, what the Most High has gave you is balance. You gotta see it and understand it, and that's why this is coming out. It's good that you mentioned it, because now the Most High can show you, yeah, I got you where I want you. You got a steady job, right? You know what I'm saying? You can provide for yourself. You got the sanctuary, class days, high holy days. Now, what you, like what the brother was saying, you gotta add this back into it. You know how you study. Now, all of it's gonna come together, you know what I'm saying? So just get back to reading and studying, along with, you know what I'm saying, your work, you know what I'm saying? And I think you'll understand more, you'll see better, you know what I'm saying? And not feel like, because you feeling like that because maybe you kind of got away from this a little bit because you're working now. Yeah, so.
And then last but not least, yeah, you know, haven't you, like, say for you see us teaching, and then you got 2 cents to add to it, you know, and you got something to put on top of it, you got something to put with it, you know, because I do it all the time. I hear the scriptures, and then, you know, I'ma have 2 cents. Y'all should do it, you know. But I tell him no, stop it. The water be speaking, and when you just notice, y'all should be creeping to me. He got 2 cents. I said, leave him alone, man. You know, he got 2 cents to add to it. I can add this to that. I say, he got it, you know. Do you ever feel like that?
Yes, sir.
That's why you have to study the scriptures, so that this thing can grow into you, and now you have the confidence and the boldness to where now, you know, the examples that you see set in front of you, you can go off of those examples and then let me add my 2 cents, because this is how I see the world, but still using the scriptures. This is how I see it, because we need that from you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's when you care for the things that belong to the Lord. Now you're gonna start using that to speak on it. Then you're gonna be you really participating in this work, because there's levels of labor in this work. Okay, and you find that out by making sure that, okay, I can rightly divide. You don't have to create something, some different understanding, some new understanding. All you have to do is be willing to deal with the things that you have been taught, because we have to teach from what we know, teach from our experiences, and we definitely will leave a point out all the time. It's like I just left a point out. What do he add to it? Okay, but he had the confidence to add to it. All right, all praises, brother. So this is a men's class only. Sisters, come back at 3:30. So you kind of get that though?
Yes, sir.
So all that, you know, pick up that book, man, you know, and read it. Okay, so next.
Have you point?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
John 17.
St. John 17.
And verse 15.
So here's a prime example. Put something on there. Y'all take note of that, man.
So it's John 17 and 15. So this is Yahushua. We know at this time he's getting ready to depart. And he prayed to the Most High. So in 15 it says, I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world. So Yahushua is talking about the disciples. something that the disciples had the time that they walked with Christ was what? Of course, he taught them, but whose experiences did they have? Yahweh's. So now Christ is praying because of his departure. He said, Father, I pray that thou shouldest not take them out of word, because now they got to go forth and give what? Their own experiences. So Tuesday, Thursday, and the Sabbath, when we come to Most High through the Spirit, he gives us understanding of what we should do, what we shouldn't do through the experience of our teachers. So now the Most High, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, now we got to use those same things that we taught, and we got to go out and get our own experiences using the same things that we taught. So it's necessary, because if we fellowshiped and was together all the time and never departed, what experience would we have of our own understanding the scriptures and actually seeing the words come to life? We would only have what our teachers tell us. We'll only have what we see through their eyes. So now we got to go forth and see the scriptures through our eyes. So it must need that we depart one from another and then have the same thing that Christ gave us, which is what? Fellowship. Because through fellowship, what do? We now jump up to verse 11. It says, and now I am no more in the world, but these are in the world. And I come to thee, Holy Father, keep through thine own name these whom thou hast given me, that they may be one as we are one. So coming back in fellowship, how do we become one? By now, every brother sharing each experience that this brother got throughout the week, that this brother got throughout the week, and then we all come together, we speak on it, we build on it, and we learn from it, and then we all on the same page, and we get the understanding of the Most High through each and every experience that every brother gets. So if we don't go out into the world, it's impossible for us to be one through Christ, through the Most High, because we need that experience from every brother and sister to be able to learn the understanding of the Most High. Because the Most High do give different experiences to each and every different brother. We don't want to just be a brother with different experiences. We got to come back to the fellowship after coming out of the world temporarily. Because we got to work, we got families, we got business we have to handle, but that experience we get, we come back and share one with another. And then we grow in it, and then we be one, just like the disciples was one. But Christ said, you have to go. Father, I ain't saying take them out of the world, but just keep them from the evil. But the way we stay from the evil, it's like now. This is what I'm dealing with. This is the battle. This is the struggle. This is what's on my mind. And then we allow that fellowship and that experience from everybody to come in and say, okay, this is how we deal with that.
Right. And also, what did Yahweh say to Peter? To add to what he's saying, 'cause that's a good point. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh told Peter, when thou art converted, right? To do what? To strengthen your brother. So, like, to add to what he's saying, when we out and we going through temptation, you know what I'm saying? We going through tribulation. Each individual, you got to do what? No. You got to endure. You got to make sure that you, with the things that you go through, like what he's saying, when you out, you got to overcome. You got to win. Because if you don't win, when you come back to the table, what do you have to offer? Nothing. That's why Yahweh told Peter, when you converted, right? When you get it, when you strengthen, when you overcome this tribulation, turn to your brothers, and like the brothers, when we come back together, we share, right? You might have something that you're going through that he just overcame. So when we come back, he's like, yo, it's like you deal with these descriptions. This is how I do, right? So that's a good point. Very good point.
Right. So tell them about it. All right. You got that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Anybody else? Everybody. What else we dealing with? And we definitely can hear from y'all out there too. So, what else we dealing with?
I jump on that. Patience, like, and you kind of hinted on it earlier, but at times, like, it was patience and why dealing with other people and waiting on them to grow, but you kind of hinted on it that the experience kind of be us. It don't even really be about them, but still in the situation, sometimes you don't always see that. You be focused on, like, why don't you see it? Why can't you get it? I'm saying it, I've said it before, what's the problem, So just patience and waiting on others to get better, and then seeing what I can do better to help that process further, because it could be me,
Right. All right. So patience. First one is James 1. James 1 and verse 2. Since it's you, somebody else can read it.
James chapter 1 and verse 2. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations.
Right. And sometimes this is a men's class, right? Only men. And so now we're going to we got to deal with topics that pertain to men, things that we're going through. The Most High call us up out of that darkness into light. And in order to actually do that work, we have to try and iron out those wrinkles and clean those spots and blemishes that we have, as men, dealing with our issues and dealing with our problems. And so while we have an opportunity to go through these precepts, y'all better not be afraid to speak up and say something. So now the thing on deck is, and this is a men's class only, Kiara come back at 3:30. So the General Assembly, the whole congregation gonna be meeting at that time. Sisters will be in here too. So now dealing with the patience aspect of everything. In order to develop your patience, the Lord's got to throw you into a different temptations. So he says diverse, meaning things gonna come in different shapes, and sometimes the same person. You have got to learn how to resist these things. So they keep coming to you, and the Lord is just standing right there telling you to ignore it. But you won't listen because you're taking it personal. You think that maybe this is a shout out at you, or maybe it's that they just don't know, or maybe they just, ignorant. Let's see. Job. Job 39. Yeah, it's cold outside, man. Job 39 and verse 13.
This is Job, chapter 39 and verse 13.
Wait a second. No, the brother, okay, go ahead, yeah.
Gavest thou the goodly wings unto the peacock, or wings and feathers unto the ostrich?
Right. So peacocks, yes, he did. Or wings and feathers unto the ostrich. Okay, go ahead.
Which leaveth her eggs in the earth.
Right. So although those two things are most beautiful, those birds, the peacock can put on a show for you. Sometimes they, whatever go through their mind, they'll just start prancing and dancing and opening up and showing their tail feather and the whole 9 yards. The peacock does that. Who gave that to them? The Most High. Same thing with the ostrich, the big old fluff bird, right? But these same ones, as beautiful as they are, they leave their eggs in the earth. Go ahead.
And warmeth them in dust.
And warmeth them in dust. Is that truly the way? In other words, they'll dig it and they'll cover it. Is that the way that you're supposed to treat your eggs? The answer is no. Read.
And forget it that the foot may crush them.
Then they turn around and be walking around looking for it. So the Lord is sitting up there looking at them from the heaven and see that what are they gonna do? They're gonna crush it. How do you think he feels about that? That's on you. You're gonna have to learn. Go ahead.
Or that the wild beasts may break them.
Or that the wild beast, just walking down the path or walking through the brush, may end up breaking. That right there will piss one of us off. There's some more behind this. Go ahead.
She is hardened against her young ones, as though they were not hers.
So in other words, obviously, maybe she doesn't have a deep concern that as if they're not hers. That's the way it appears. That's how you would do one that you don't care about. Go ahead.
Her labor is in vain without fear,
Go ahead.
because God had deprived her of wisdom.
So she's doing that because what happened? Read again.
Because God had deprived her of wisdom,
Go ahead.
neither had he imparted to her understanding.
So if you know that the Father has did that, why be mad at the bird? So if you know that the Most High has did that to this represents the woman. If you know that the Father have did that unto the woman, why be mad at the woman? Why spend your time agitated and irritated and steaming? Why not just humble yourself to the challenge of trying to get this person to change their mind? Why not strengthen your mind to know that, hey, the Father, obviously he deprived you of this wisdom because you don't have it. Grace comes from God. The virtuous woman, the grace of a woman, this woman, she's delighted by her husband, or she's delighted to deal with her husband, or her husband's delighted by her. Her husband is delighted. This woman is imparted with grace. This woman is deprived. Who deprived you? Are you deprived because you just don't want to be? You don't want to be like this. And then now you are mad because she don't want to be some type of way. No, the Most High didn't give it to her. Neither have he imparted to her understanding. He didn't give her the understanding. As men, we just have to, sometimes we have to just give it up to acknowledge that, maybe you didn't choose wisely. Maybe you didn't choose through patience. And so when we encourage the youth that's coming up out of us from our vast experience of heartaches and headaches, when we speak to you, we speaking to you from experience. So when we're telling you that you need to wait and not move in haste, you better wait and not move in haste. Cause what you say? Yeah, cause you don't want this here. This will knock you dead. I mean, we only taking it because we gotta live, but this is enough to kill a person, man. it's enough to make you lose your mind. Everybody ain't mentally strong the same way. And being in positions, men of the Lord, now we have to take it. So the feeble can't take it. A woman that's not imparted, God didn't give her wisdom. She's deprived. But we're yoked with this woman. Did not impart to her understanding, but we're yoked with this woman. There are plenty of women out there that's like that. And they will drive you bonkers. Oh, they won't mind doing the nasty. They don't mind doing that. But you can't get nothing else out of them. You can't get nothing spiritual out of them. And you looking for spiritual, and you don't mind doing the nasty. So, you're going to have to just wait until it's clear evident that this is a fruitful tree, that this sister is fruitful, man. And her intentions is clear, that she would keep these commandments with or without you. That's the indication that a brother would be looking for. This woman has been doing it. And is remarkably evident that you've been doing it. When she found you, how she found you? She found each and every last one. She found you keeping the commandments to yourself. You didn't you wasn't off going doing this, that, and the third. The Most High knows how to keep her the same way he's keeping you. It's a spirit that's making you be celibate. Be to yourself. It's a spirit, and that spirit is the spirit of the Most High. The same spirit is keeping them where they at, doing what they doing. Okay? So, let's go back to James 1 and 2. Brethren, count it our joy when I fall into diverse temptations. Now that's hard to count it joy. The word that we can, help us understand the joy is to be positive. That's something that you gotta learn to do instead of hating it. Because what else he gonna tell you to do? No, because that's gonna break your spirit. Weeping and crying, and a woman do break it to strength. Scriptures tell you that. She will break it to strength. But do we always want to be broken down?
No.
Walk around, she not listening, she arguing with us, talking back, throwing stuff around, trying to scuffle with us, all type disobedient. You tell them to go ahead and cry, weep, mourn over that. No. Now you gotta tell him to be strong, man. Bold as a lion, man. You gotta tell him to stand his ground up. He gotta rule his house. He gotta lay the law down. He gotta put his foot down. You gotta tell him to be positive. Because this diversement, I'm tempted to do this. She tempted me to do that. I'm tempted this way and that way and this way and that way. I gotta be positive, man. That if I stay in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, what's gonna end up happening? Things gonna shape up. But we really don't want the situation to shape out. We want it to shape up. I know a lot of brothers, first thing that they want to do, they want to get rid of, they want to get rid of the woman. But I beg to differ. I beg to differ because I understand that there are so many brothers that are single that want to be in your situation. And there are so many that are in a struggling situation that want to be single. So, according to the spirit, brothers got to stay where they at. The single, you're going to stay single until it's evident. And the ones that are seen to be in broken circumstances, you got to learn how to fix that situation. At least you got to try. Now, if the unbelieving depart, it's nothing you can do. But as long as they there, then you're trying to fix the situation. Because, go to Ecclesiastes 28. It's okay. Huh? Ain't nobody else walking around.
Oh,
Slock it, not 28, 36. Please ask us 36. Not 28, please ask us 36. And 25.
Ecclesiastes chapter 36 and verse 25. Where no hedge is,
No, actually 24, start there.
Ecclesiastes chapter 36 and 24.
All right.
He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest.
Right. So now, the woman, you have this wife, the precept says you begin to thrive. That means you should be moving forward with a woman. Yeah. You should be moving forward. One way to create this unity and this team effort and with the woman is to be a person that's everything that lies within you, bring forth the spirit of equity. And the spirit of equity is fairness. Fairness. When she look at you, she got to see herself. When you look at her, you got to see yourself. So you have to create a balance. And that'll alleviate a lot of issues and the problems. But you got to open your ears up to the demands, to the list of demands. And then you got to weigh it in the balance according to the scriptures. Say, okay, I can reason with this. This is fair. Okay? If not, you're going to have some problems. Okay? I didn't say give over the throne and, let her wear the pants. No, you got to start. You got to start trying to figure out how can I infuse equity into the situation. And that makes women to move when you say move. If I have a problem, I will let them know it's gonna get bad. Because I don't give you no problem with equity. I'm a real fair person. So you better be careful with me. I'm not gonna take it, I'm not gonna play. I mean what I say. And because I'm with that equity, then it kick in, say, okay. All right, a woman will, it will try you, or will try to go beyond, for some reason, stretch the bound, stretch the limit. But no, let's bring it on back in, let's bring it back in. Sometimes there's a no day. This might be no. It's all gotta be reasonable. Is it gonna, when you're dealing with equity, is it gonna hurt you? That's what you gotta consider. Is this gonna hurt me to have this allowance? to allow this? Does it affect me? If it doesn't affect you, go ahead, do it. You know, if it doesn't affect me, you understand what I'm saying? Everybody understand?
Most definitely.
So young blood dog. Let's see. For the married brothers, when I say is it going to affect me? You're gonna be gone all day. You can't take care of responsibilities in the house. Can't can't deal with the children. Can't even deal with me. You know, what about this supper that needs to be cooked? You know, that's going to affect the house, right? You might say, I'm against. You know, I'm against it. Is it a necessity? If it's not a necessity, then try and talk him to reconsider. If it's a necessity, there's nothing you can do about it because it's mandated. It's a necessity. It might be job related. She can't help that she got called in. You know, you don't want the woman to get fired. She's helping provide. So you gotta ask. Now you understand? Is it going to affect you? Let me see something else. I want to go and somebody at work is asking me to go to happy hour. You ain't compromising with that. No, there's no happy hour. You know, people in the streets, what are they talking about? Some type of wickedness. You know, she just wants to get out. Then you got to sit there. That's when you might develop to have some type of trouble. But because if you've been fair in all other aspects, her listening to you, you could be able to get through to her. Because you've been fair with a lot of other things. You'll have a problem with this. But when it pertains to this communicating with the world and stuff like that, the scriptures teach us concerning going with bold people. Go nowhere with a bold fellow. That's the scriptures. Everybody know that precept? Mm-hmm. You know that precept? Okay. You know it?
I've heard of it.
All right, let's get it for him.
Ecclesiastes chapter 8.
Ecclesiastes 8 and 15. And so, and Shai, this is one reason why, we hesitate here. Can I go over Walter's house? I don't know his name. Can I go with Walter? I'm like, who is Walter? I don't know him. I know you know him, but the scriptures teach us about being continually with a godly man. But now, equity means what? You're not paying attention? Pay attention. If you don't pay attention, how you gonna learn? If you don't learn, you're gonna be in your feelings because you don't know something when these things affect you. So equity means fair. So when you deal with people out of our equity and then you have to turn around and you have to deprive them of something, it helps them to understand because typically you deal with them out of fairness. So now the bold thing is I was trying to explain to brothers on when to stop their woman. She want to go out with somebody from work, you cut that. So, no, you ain't going to hang out with her. She wants to know why. This is this precept to show. But in other instances, when she wanted to do things, you didn't have no issue with it. This will help her to understand and bring in a balance. Like then I said you, because I know most recently you asked to go to somebody's house and I told you no. But all other times when you like, I'm going to the YMCA, I just want to shoot some basketball, lift weights or whatever, or you gonna hang out with these brothers, what do I say? No problem. But if everything was no, 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 you would have a big problem. You wouldn't understand why it's like, I can't do anything because I'm always telling you no. But now I have a legitimate reason using the scriptures on why not to go to Walter's house. So now, does Walter come to your house? If he come to your house, you got control over the situation. Y'all don't hear us come in like that. Give us a moment. Tiptoe through this thing. We be. Oh my God. I'm appalled. Excuse me, y'all. Sisters are coming through. They just kicked our class in. Straight. When we come in from camp, we be. You can't even tell me. They just kicked the camp. They just kicked the school in. I ain't even trying to walk off. Okay, y'all, for the humor. So now, just like shy one, but like I'm sure each and every last one of us as brothers, we get offers to somebody to come hang out. Yo, man, you come hang out with, do this, do that. You're like, what is that? That's strange. No, that's what? Weird. That's weird. That's weird. Brother, we are an Israelite congregation. We in these commandments. We teach these commandments. And they get those class days. And then when we want to do things exciting, we do things as a unit. We like an army, man. So we do things as a pack. We go out and we do things. And that's fun. You understand what I'm saying? Not with somebody with the cares of the world in them, because they gotta be trying to put us into the flesh, because they're in the flesh. You understand what I'm saying? They in the flesh. So they're just reminding us of all the things that we came up out of. And that's not what we need. That's not what we want. So we only want to be with like-minded brothers. Okay? So now we're going to read this precept. Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 15.
Travel not by the way with a bold fellow, lest he become grievous unto thee.
Eventually he gonna be grievous, man. If you spiritual, you gonna be like, what is this? What is this? Why you saying that? Why you see him looking? It's making you look. He telling you to look.
Right.
Yeah, look, check her out, man. Look. Oh, we was at the store the other day. Who was at the store with me yesterday? Remember the guy was selling the spandex uniform outfit to the woman? Yeah. He was trying to entice us to like consent with him, telling her to come back and, get with him on lunch or whatever. Like, yeah, right. Yeah. I just looked at him like, nah, that's not right. I disagree. I didn't start preaching to him, but I didn't consent. That's boldness, man. And if you actually humble yourself to be honest with yourself, those associates that are in the world, they are bold like that. They don't have those type of constraints. So this is what you will be like, nah, Now you don't, and you're not going out with that. Who is that? Patricia. No, leave her at work. Denied, you know. But she's gonna reflect, and once you correct her using the scriptures, you know, hey, you go, you do all this other stuff. You know, you go here, this, that's cool. You know, I ain't got no issue with that, because there ain't no law against that. But this her, hell no, you ain't doing that. You ain't doing that. No. And the Most High gonna give her a spirit to be in subjection to that. Hey, Shalom says it's a men's class. The congregation, we're gonna be at it at 3:30, so just come right back, okay? At 3:30. We're actually gonna be stopping shortly for lunch, okay? So read on though.
For he will do according to his own will.
So remember, you explaining this. You're explaining this. You're getting shut down because these people, they will do according to their own will. Go ahead.
And thou shalt perish with him through his father.
Right. Do you want to be the Most High's looking at them, and he also looking at you? While he in folly, you're gonna end up perishing. Right. Because you're gonna learn to be drunk with them. They taking, and a lot of these people in the street, they don't care, man. They'll drink their bill money up, brother. They'll be out there buying those drinks and buying your rib drinks. Yeah. Buying your rib drinks, and now she's, you know, become a drunkard. And that's against the scriptures for a woman to become a drunkard, not given too much wine. Okay? She'll accept that Lord's will if those other aspects, you will have those allowances. All right, no issue, no problem. There's no problem. You know, my wife said, I'm going to the store. Okay, it ain't hurting me, go to the store. You know, I'm gonna do this. Okay. And sometimes she said, I'm gonna run one of the children. I'm gonna run this person to there. And I think like, okay, well, you know, you're gonna run your gas out, but okay, you know, go ahead, you know. I don't pump her brakes, go ahead. I know, you know, she gonna do the right thing. All right, whatever. But when I no, I step in and say, okay, no, this is not gonna affect me. And if there's an issue, then you're gonna hear some growling, some roaring, you know, like, give you an example. Let me see, ain't no sisters in here, right? Sisters don't be in here. You know, the other day, like I left my, now I came straight from being out I came from work or something. I was doing something. Came from work, me and Dre. So my book bag was at home, and Carlise was out at the store for the fees. And she's at Whole Foods, and that's like in the area. And she's about to give me some lip, like, well, she's gonna come, I was going straight to the school. I'm like, you gotta pass the street. I'm like, think about that, are you serious? You gotta stop at the house and get that, you know. And so, you know, I gotta turn serious, like, you need to think about what you're saying without giving me some feedback. You finna pass the street up. You at Whole Foods. And so then her and Fasad kind of got like, well, they was both finna go get it. So, that would affect me not to have, because I had this phone there and this one I had to use for the concordance and all the internet, search out words, you know, and then my book. So if it affects me, then that's the only time I'm gonna have an issue. If it don't affect me, green light. You know, green light. As long as it's not gonna hurt me, affect me, or stop me, you know. Because remember, man, we gotta live with them forever, and you gotta create a equal platform to where they feel that they can function. That they can function. It's not gonna kill you. It's not gonna hurt you. Only if it's gonna hurt you, that's when you stop. Or if it's gonna hurt them. See, some of you brothers have women that they will hurt them with the stuff that they do. That's when you stop and use the scriptures. And then let that be the end of it. Without being emotional. Let them cry. All right. You know, all right. You know, don't let them provoke you. You know. And sometimes they might be hurt for a while. You know. Then go back and try and restore. So we gotta get back to James because we're dealing with the patience. You know, they gotta go through that. Remember, same thing goes for them. What was that Ecclesiastes 4? If they go astray, they're gonna get tormented. You know, but you don't want to leave them like that. You know, you gotta try to restore because they can't pick themselves up. Satan is having his way with them. So you gotta go and restore. You gotta talk to them. And this is your experience. And that's what this is gonna go into. Shalom, Floyd and Sean. So this is James 1 and 2. Count it all joy because there are diverse temptations. So be positive. That's the verse 2. Knowing this, that the trying of your faith. Now somebody try you. Yeah. You gonna try me? You know what I'm saying? So step to you gonna try me? It's bucking up at you. The trying of your faith, it's gonna work what? Patience, because with each temptation, you gotta back down. You gotta back down. You gotta put in order the application of the scriptures. Go ahead, verse 4.
But let patience have a perfect work.
Right, so let all that have a perfect work. It's gonna work in you something.
That ye may be perfect.
That you may be perfect. So the end of it is that it's supposed to make you a better person.
Right.
It's supposed to make you a better person. Yeah, it's messed up. The end of it is gonna make you a better person. Go ahead.
And entire.
Right. And complete. You see? And complete. Because guess what? Go to Timothy. First Timothy 3 and verse 4 and 5.
1 Timothy 3 and verse 4. One that ruleth well his own house, having his children in subjection.
Right. So you gotta rule well the house. Ruling well meaning, hey, scriptures, teaching the scriptures, and doing all the diverse temptations, teaching the scriptures. No matter how they come, they coming at it again and again and again, this way and that way. Okay, teaching the scripture. Even you brothers that living in the house together. Temptation coming this way, that way, teach the scriptures. Bring out the scriptures. For everything that pop up, bring out the scriptures. It's a scripture for everything. Everything in the world is a scripture for. Trust and believe. Okay? So now it says, for the married, having your children in subjection. That means your children must listen to you. If your children do not listen to you, that's a problem. That's a problem. But then it says, with all gravity. That means total control. Gravity is weighed down. If your children are bouncing around like popcorn, that's out of order. That's not ruling the children well. The children are not in subjection to you. They must obey your voice. And you must teach them to obey your voice.
Hey Sam, quick while we on this topic. In my situation, with me having a child with someone that's in the world, how do I deal with that when she's been talking two separate households that been,
Well, it ain't no scriptures that gonna tell you anything different. You gotta teach them this. When she come to you, she gotta know that this is how it is.
I just wanted to make sure, I mean, that's what I do now, I just wanted to elaborate on.
Right, you know, teacher, teaching is always the clue. You know, you gotta wait, it's almost lunchtime. Oh, okay, wait, there we go. Some people have problems out of little children. And I just think that maybe you don't speak to them enough. You don't teach them enough. You don't discipline enough. Discipline is not always giving you a pounding. You know, discipline is making a change in their life. A change that they could feel on their level. I mean, they're only 3 and 4 feet tall, you know. And then also being with them. You know, I raised 8 in the house. And I tell you, when they were little, people would be blown away. When I say blown away, they would be in admiration. They would be wondering, like, how do you get them to all be like that? I can show you videos. I can show you pictures. When we walked together, we were a pack. When we sat down, they sat down, they were mannerable. When I began to have the most trouble is when, you know, this public school system really, now they have to battle against the behavior of that. But, you know, early preschool and early children, you know, y'all shouldn't have the problems that y'all having on these children. You have to interact with them. I mean, I would sleep with my children, sit down with my children, eat with my children. You understand? Be the lion in the den, man. You understand? You know what a lion do with his cubs? He's with the cubs. He's with them, him, the lioness, and the cubs. That's how you gotta be. You know, and you gotta be fair. Equity, that, you know, is a brick in the foundation that you're building in the house. Someday can see and understand. Okay, so one that Ruler Willis on house having his children in subjection with all gravity. That's a project right there. It says, if a man know not how to do these things, if he know not how to rule his own house, how can he take care of the church? So you gotta figure that out. You have to figure that out. How do I get them to listen? How do I get them to march to the tune of the precepts? It first has to be in you.
That's right.
It's gotta make sense to you. It's gotta grow in you first. And you gotta know that it takes time for other people to grow. Okay? So now, let's lose that and let's go back to James. We'll finish here. That way we don't throw too much. Yeah.
I had a point that you can continue.
No, go ahead.
Quickly, I'm gonna try to comprehend a few words. Dealing with, like, it's a point that you made that stood out to me because that's how I try to build my household and with my wife, the equity part. So let's put equity here, and then let's put patience here. I got a question. Is patience equity?
Yes.
Say it again.
It's patience.
It's impatience equity. It's not impatience like equity. So the reason that I asked that question is because when you find yourself dealing with impatience is just one word, but it comes with a lot of attributes behind it. Impatience comes with sarcasticness, right? Impatience comes with anger. See, impatience come with sharp criticism, and it's always directed to the person that you what?
Not being equitable.
Impatient with. So when the brother was bringing out the equality part, being patient is part of that. Because I have another question. When do anybody, when they find themselves impatient or deal a certain way, do y'all find yourself, do y'all apologize for the things like that?
I do.
Why do you? Because I want to get Romans chapter 15. Because a lot of times when we have problems with our spouse, right? And we know that we deal a certain way that's impatient, which is not equality. Why do we keep having those problems with our spouse? Because they're doing what we do. And they're not receptacle or accepting what we doing, right? Now, I'm not saying that, the things that they do is right, and the things that they're not getting is, right. But like the brother said, we gotta make sure that we perfect in it, so that they won't be able to say, aha, or you doing it. So, you coming down on me like that, right? So Romans 15:1, it says, we then that are strong are to bear the infirmities of the weak and not to please ourselves. So for one, we gotta be strong, and when we see a weakness, we gotta bear that infirmity as it is written. And it says not to please ourselves. Because if we doing it any way outside of the equality and the equity that the brother's speaking on, who are we pleasing? We pleasing ourselves. And therefore, the response that we get, right, or the recycle of the problem keep consistent, because the way that we're going about it ain't right. So it says, verse 2, let every one of us please his neighbor for his goods and edification. See? So we have to make sure with all that lie in us that we apply the patience and that we apply the consideration. And it sums up one word, it's called charity. One to another. Because remember what the Most High said through Peter in 1 Peter chapter 3. The Most High said that we have to do what? Dwell with according to knowledge. See? So we have to acknowledge the precepts and dwell on according to knowledge. And that's the equity that the brother's speaking of. He gave a lot of different examples. And one dealing with, okay, can you do this? You know what I'm saying? Or is this something that I can allow? But if we dealing outside of what charity speak about, then we not dealing with the equity. See? And that's why a lot of things be kind of upside down or be wrong, and then we be wondering about, well, wow, why you ain't getting it? Why you ain't getting it? So I just wanted to bring this point out that we have to remember and be mindful of. You know what I'm saying? Because once again, impatience is not just impatience. It brings anger. It brings sarcasticness, sharp criticism, and it's all directed to the person that we've been impatient with. So we gotta draw, wheel all them things back in and deal with and examine ourselves to make sure that when we dealing and we give into this impatience, picture ourselves, how we look, what we doing, how we saying it, because that'll cause, a serious problem to where things will keep recycling themselves and not getting right. And the Most High, He be allowing these things to keep coming back. Why does the Most High keep bringing the same things back to us over and over again? So that we can do what?
Get it right.
Get it right. See? So that we can get it right. So it says, for even Christ pleased not himself, but as it is written, the reproaches of them that reproach thee fell on me. So, okay, verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through what? Patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So us being the leaders and the heads of our house, we are that reason of hope or that good example through Christ. It's all in Christ that they supposed to look forward to and see, okay, no matter what I'm doing, throughout everything I'm doing, he maintaining his integrity and he's very and he's being what? Equal. He's showing equality. Therefore, let me get it together. To where now, when the man come forth and say, you know what, I have a problem. I shouldn't be doing it. It's justified, right? It's justified. And not, okay, the way that you're dealing with me, it's hard for me to accept that. I'm not getting that. Matter of fact, you offended me. You know what I'm saying? You're saying things that hurt. Because that's what patience and impatience do. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that that's the case and scenario all the time, but we gotta think on it and examine ourselves based upon it, because that's what impatience do. Impatience is not a fruit of the spirit. You know what I'm saying? Impatience is an attribute that the works of the flesh promote. So when it come out unfiltered, right? So we got to think about that and be careful with that. So I just want to add that.
Okay. James 3:17.
James chapter 3 and verse 17. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above. And, you said James 3 and 17, I'm sure. James chapter 3 and verse 17. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated.
Stop. So when you're gonna deal with somebody, okay, when you're gonna deal with somebody, the wisdom, the words, the understanding, the response, the remarks, it got to be pure, meaning it's clean. It's the scriptures, unbiased, with good intent. Okay, peaceable. So it has to. The outcome of this thing, man, has got to be you expect peace from it, and it's got to be the type of peace to where they feel peace. Okay, they feel that you're trying to make peace with them. All right, go ahead.
Full of mercy.
Right, full of mercy. This is the level that we have to go to or grow to. Crap and hit the fan. They terrible. I know they terrible. And although they doing them, look at what the Most High is asking you, how he asking you to be. Now that's your challenge right there. It's hard to look somebody in the face and be like this. When they're wrong, they trying to get over, they lying. But look what a man of God is about. Look at the difference. Look at the difference. See it. When you can do this, you're going to start winning. You might even win them. Because you might even start you actually showing them how to act. They might even feel guilty for trying to get over on you. But if you render the evil for evil, they never gonna learn. Okay? So gentle, easy to be entreated. That means received. The stuff that you given to them, are they easily receiving it? Are they easily receiving it? Okay? They ain't gonna receive sarcasm. They ain't gonna receive names. You calling them, oh, you wicked. You know it's wicked. Yeah, I call them wicked. This the same person that you got to be with. They're gonna say, well, when you wrong, you not wicked. It's just when I'm wrong, I'm wicked. They're not gonna see the fairness in it. So let me hold that punch, because we know that we can punch them with it. Let me hold that punch. I'm finna hold this. Now I'm finna try to give you something that's gonna actually try to help you recover yourself. You get what I'm saying? Of course we could call you wicked. We can call you the devil. Of course we could do that, but why call it? Why throw that punch? It ain't gonna do nothing but make your job even harder. And you got a job. They ain't gonna trust you, they ain't gonna wanna hear it, they ain't gonna wanna tolerate it. They thinking about jumping ship, they thinking about this, they thinking about that. No, you gotta make it smooth, man. You gotta make it easy to be accepted from you. That's your job. I fought mine. I've been where a lot of you brothers at. Had the hard times I've been down there, man. Ain't nothing easy. Ain't no, when the scripture say ain't no temptation taking you but such as common to man. That's true, man. You know, my family didn't get where it was because I found it like that. I got like that because I had to put the work in. And I had to leave the world behind in order to do it, in order to focus. And the more I focused, the more I suffered. Because the more I was able to see clearly that this needs fixed and that needs fixed. And I had to pray and go to work on it, pray and go to work on it, pray and go to work on it. And study and read and show, hey, that's my son right there. Am I lying? You see? And so, you know, the problems, they're going to be there. But you just got to keep on trying to reach this level so that you can reach them, so that they can see this is all I'm trying to give to you. Despite, if you know, if they're going to do them, they're going to do them. But you got to get this here. Full of mercy. Because you're going to teach them to be merciful back in return to you. They ain't going to be merciful to you first. You got to be the poster child for what mercy is. They're not going to be merciful. You expect them to be merciful to you first. They're not going to be merciful to you first. They go second. You have got to do it first. You got to teach them what I was merciful to you. You won't even have to ask for it. Just teach it and just be it. And let them see it. When they finish using you, or when the Most High finish using that situation to build you up, He gonna be graceful to you, and He gonna improve. He gonna give that understanding to them to be like that back with you. And then you're gonna give thanks and praise to the Most High, because what you get out of it, the learning aspect. You gonna be, okay, I got the learning aspect for it. And then through time and distance, it's going to separate yourself from all those events, and you're going to be forgiven. You forgiving them for all of that, and you ain't even thinking about that. You're like, I'm done with that, man. That was the past. We used to be like that. We get down like this now. And you're going to be loving the newness of this person. Because you're going to then turn and think about how you was some shape, form, or fashion likewise like that too. You made mistakes too. So that you're on down the road with that. Full of what? Good fruits. That's what they gotta see. Without partiality. See, you can't pick and choose when to be a good dude to them. When you're gonna say something nice. When you're gonna say something kind. When it's good, it's good. You know, when you're going to make love tonight, then you good. When you ain't, or you had a hard day at work, you rough around the edges. You can't be that type of dude. Whether you're going to make love or not, you got to be strong-minded. You gotta be all of these attributes. You gotta bring forth pureness, peacefulness, gentleness, easy to be entreated, full of mercy, patient, without partiality. I mean, I'm gonna speak the scriptures regardless, without hypocrisy. I don't just say it, I do it. See, because they'll watch you. You go to the store, how I deal in the store. Was I a hypocrite in the store? How did it deal with your peoples in the streets? Was you a hypocrite in the streets? I'm saying, let's see what they do. Oh, yeah, making a lot of noise. So we gonna ride our horses right on up in here. Right on, we're gonna ride our horses right on up in here. Man, these sisters, boy. That's all right. And see, we went first, setting all examples on how to creep up in here.
Yeah.
But without hypocrisy, though, man, whether you at the store, your discussion concerning other brothers and sisters, yeah, your discussion in life, are you a hypocrite? Are you a just person? Are you, because your people are feeding off of you, man. They gotta see a complete package without them. That'll make them wanna be a part of that. They're gonna draw near to that. Either they're gonna draw near to it, or they're gonna be like, I don't wanna be a part of that. And that is the Christ. So while you go through that, you're gonna have to be patient. We're gonna finish James and then that's it, y'all. So James 1, and I'll take it out. James 1 and 5 now. I think, so we read 4, right?
We had, I thought we said 3:17 next week.
Going
back to that one.
I hate that. James 1 and 4, let patience have her perfect work. So the stuff that you go through, you gotta be cool with it because it's supposed to bring forth a good work in you. It's supposed to teach you how to become this word manifested in the flesh to people. All those trials, that you may be perfect and entire, meaning what? Complete, one and nothing. So we had Ecclesiasticus, we was holding something, right? We're gonna finish that. Ecclesiasticus 36. Yes, and I'll get it here. Ecclesiasticus 36 and verse 24. He that getteth a wife begetteth a possession. A help like unto himself. So the possession was like, you begin to thrive, man. It's like getting a job. First you were poor, you didn't have no money, you didn't have anything. Now you got a job. Now you can pay the bills. You can, buy a car, get an apartment, a house. It's lucrative. So a woman's supposed to make you lucrative. You should be able to thrive. Now you got some assistance. Then it says, just like you. Yeah, just like you. That's why it's so important for brothers to be on point, okay? help like unto himself. If you righteous, she gonna end up being righteous because of all of these things being you, they're gonna make that you are neither what? Barren, nor what? Or unfruitful. Right? So she ain't gonna be barren or unfruitful. But if you lack these things, then she's gonna be a reflection of what you have. Okay? It says a pillow of rest. What type of rest is that? That's not the sexual rest. Oh, she's a pillow. I get to lay on her to comfort her.
Doing everything on your own.
I don't know. I'm really not digesting that part. But when something comes to a rest, it comes to what? A pillow that stops you, man. Yeah. Because this is a living process. And she's going to help stop you from going astray. You're teaching her what you know. She's learning. Y'all like-minded. And she's your own flesh. And so she will be there and have insider information. The moment you get ready to go astray, she right there. Brothers ain't there. Brothers someplace else. You finna make a bad decision. You finna do something. The woman is there always. She has access that nobody else has. So she gonna be able to stay you, rest you, stop you from going astray. That's what that is. It ain't the pillow on the bed. Oh, I can rest right next to you. Y'all fight all the time. Nope, not that. Everybody understand that? Okay. Now, where no hedges, the possession is spoiled. The hedges was meant to be put up for protection. That's why teaching. The more you teach, the bigger the hedge is. The more deadly it is. The more dangerous it is. Lethal. Swords, flaming swords. You understand? Flaming swords. Deadly heads. That's why you gotta take that possession, brother, and hedge it up. Now check this out. This is why I do not recommend, brothers, go boot the woman. And he that have no wife will wander up and down what?
Morning.
If you boot her, how you gonna feel? You're gonna be mad. You're gonna be sad. You're gonna end up mourning. So the best thing to do is to teach her and fix her. If she walked, she got, it wasn't meant. If they leave, it wasn't meant. But your job is to start building that hedge regardless of what she's saying. I'm gonna build this hedge. I know what's right. I'm gonna build this hedge. And we get to go. So we better stop this. We already over. So we'll have to change now to Sabbath service time. That's okay though. So anything else before we shut it down? It came to mind? I mean, did that kind of put something out there for you? Help you a little bit? Patient, Anybody else? All right. So we'll shut it down, and the rest, prayers and communion and stuff like that will happen at the end of the Sabbath service. All right, Israel. So, sorry, brother. This was a men's class, and we're gonna try and orchestrate this in as much as possible. We just had the space now because the sisters' class didn't happen today. We're trying to figure it out, how we could habitate at the same time. But that's it. And we'll see y'all shortly. So we'll change the Sabbath service just by maybe to 4:30. Time, will it be dark by then? No. 2.
5:30.
That's about 4. Let's try about 4:15. Okay. We'll try about 4:15. We'll try to shoot for 4, but everybody's at home anyway, so y'all get that alert the dean, just jump on. We're gonna try about the 4 o'clock hour. That'll get him 4:15. All right, y'all. So hey, Shalom, Most High in Christ bless. Okay, what is it?
I don't know, I think it worked out.
All right, y'all. Shalom.